did it go wrong for the ACC?
On today's Odd Coaches podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis discuss week 2 of the college football season, as well as providing predictions for week 3. Welcome to today's show. Dr. Keith Adams is the president of the CKA Save Project, a nonprofit organization designed to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. He is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college levels. He has won numerous championships and epitomizes professionalism. Coach Mike Franchise Francis is one of the most successful football and basketball coaches in the state of Maryland. He too is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college level and is self-admittedly a little rough around the edges. Both men have mentored countless student athletes, teachers, and coaches using their unique methods and approaches to leadership. Both men also share a unique and special friendship that was cultivated often through their unique perspective of life and leadership. Dr. Adams through his extensive educational background and Coach Francis through his life experiences. Can these two men share a podcast without driving each other crazy? Welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my Fandango to my Tyler Breeze, because I wanted to be current today, and although both of them got fired, they were extremely entertaining. Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, how are we feeling today, my friend? Because you are still my icon, my showstopper, my main event, and the reason why we are up this morning, making sure the people have something to listen to. What's going on?
Oh, my God. I almost fell out the chair when you said Fandango. Come on, man.
I love that thing, man. They really messed up Johnny Curtis, because this guy, Jericho, put him over at WrestleMania, and it could get nothing after that. And welcome to the new NXT, but I'm not going to get too caught up with that, because that's personal to both of us.
Yes. Yes.
Well, today we are going to talk about week 2 of the college football season. There is a lot going on. My goodness. Upsets abound, and we've got all kinds of thoughts going on in our head. So segment 1, we're going to share our top tier stories. Segment 2, our second tier stories. And segment 3, strictly for entertainment purposes only, we will make some predictions and hope they work out in our favor. And I'm tired of being 500 already. But, Coach, what's the first thing that popped into your mind about this weekend, sir?
First of all, I'm so happy to see it back. The pageantry, man. The fans, the enthusiasm, just like, I don't want to say normalcy. Everybody wants to say, we're getting back to normalcy. I'm not saying that. It's just good to see people enjoying people again. I think that's the most important part to me. And seeing these young kids, and I know 21, 22, but I still call them kids. But seeing these kids actually, get out and play, get to show their talents, get to experience the students who are not playing, getting to enjoy social aspects of life again. But the biggest thing that stood out to me, again, and I know call me a homer, but it was Maryland really doing what they were supposed to do to Howard. Like in years past, they struggled. I mean, I was at the games. My son played. They struggled with Howard. They struggled with Towson. They lost to Temple. But when you're playing teams like that, that's the way you're supposed to do it. So shout out again, my favorite coach, Mike Loxley, and staff, 62-0 over Howard. Next week, they travel to Illinois.
Well, I'm going to save some Illinois jokes for later. But the first thing I have to do is I have to humbly apologize to the University of Oregon, because the University of Oregon traveled east 3 time zones. And if you're in the betting business, if you've got an early game and a team flies from the West Coast, hint, hint for the NFL show, you always take the East Coast team and the points. Well, they not only came into the Horseshoe, which I actually had a chance to speak at and visit. Shout out to Dan Tudor and his great recruiting
Yes.
guru himself. Uh, they won the game clean. They just beat them, and I got nothing. They beat Ohio State. So Ohio State immediately, no matter what they do the rest of the year, they're irrelevant. And the people are going to take one-loss SEC team over a Big Ten champ who lost to the Pac-12. So thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your season of mediocrity, Ohio State.
And here's your parting gift.
And the second thing I want to just share is Michigan currently has a better record than Ohio State University, and you could care less. But I got to tell you, 2-0, Harbaugh is rolling, and this might be the year that they beat the team down south or up north, however they say it. But this was actually Ryan Day's first regular season loss. So that's how I'm going to open up. Any thoughts on that, sir, as we can get you going here?
You know that Ohio State and Michigan thing. You know how I feel about that. It's two things that I just
they're done already.
Yeah. You know, we had this talk again. It's already on the tapes. But yeah, that's about it. And second tier, I got a couple other we'll share when we come to the next segment. But yeah. We'll let Coach Francis take us out to the next segment, and we'll be right back after this short break.
The vision of the CKA SAVE project is to use the combination of academics and athletics as a catalyst to lifelong success. Thus, the CKA SAVE project works to improve student-athlete academic and athletic performance by assisting student-athletes with transitional and transferable skills such as time management and organizational skills, along with the ability to self-advocate to help improve performance. However, we cannot do our work without the help of supporters like you. Consider donating to the CKA SAVE project. We accept tax-deductible contributions in a number of ways, including Venmo and Cash App at CKA SAVE project, or directly at the main page of our website, www.ckasaveproject.org. Simply click the donate button. We thank you in advance for your continued support.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. And in segment 2, we will talk about our second tier stories. And Coach Francis, let's let you start off, sir. What else is on your mind after week 2 of the college football season?
Some things caught my eye that I really, really want to follow for a while. I'll tell you, Kentucky caught my eye, man. You know, that Kentucky beating Missouri, that ain't something that you see on a regular basis. All right. Kentucky beating Missouri, that caught my eye. LSU, they struggled. They had 17 points third quarter. That's not going to
Who did LSU play?
I had it written down, but I can't read my own.
Well, whoever it was, they shouldn't have struggled against.
Right. That's week 2. They shouldn't. It shouldn't have even been close. But it shouldn't have been close. But they struggled. They only had 17 points, and this was like midway through the third. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. You know, what happened to you last week, we can't talk about letdown. That didn't look good at all. So seeing them struggle was definitely a big thing. I was a little bit Miami App State.
McNeese State, by the way. It was McNeese State.
McNeese. Yeah, come on, man. How do you struggle with McNeese State? Like that's an issue. That's an issue going forward. And then Marshall. Woo, Marshall look good, man. That's the team I like to watch when it comes to that subdivision. I'm telling you, they beat North Carolina Central 44-10, but they executed. I had a chance to catch some of it. Their offense looks amazing. And even in the spring when they was one of the teams playing, I was really, really impressed with, what they were doing offensively with, as well as Coastal Carolina. So I like that. And the biggest story, not the biggest story, but something else I want to follow is Ole Miss. I'm serious, man. Lane Kiffin, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. I have to commit to flying down and seeing Lane and going over some offensive stuff and things like I have to. Like I was talking to my staff. I'm like, hey, we got to make it a point to go get it with Lane and see what they're doing and get some homework on it.
Well, for me, sir, one thing really just made me mad. I went to Lincoln University for a semester. I can't tell you why I left. And my roommate, shout out to Brian Irons, Beans, and my good friend Milford, simply the best. Beans is a big Penn State guy. And I used to talk about ACC football like it was the greatest thing in the world. And we're talking about the late 80s or 90s. Saturday, ACC football officially to me became terrible, and I'm late to the party. I need to get these 4 bullets out, man. Did Florida State really lose to Jacksonville State?
Yes, they did.
Did that really happen?
20-17.
2, Miami's poor performance against Appalachian State. I'm watching this game, again, angry. And I'm not a football mark. I'm a fan. But, man, come on. Syracuse lost to Rutgers.
That hurt. I actually had Syracuse pretty high, if you remember, in the ACC. That's sad.
Yes. And North Carolina State lost to Mississippi State. Now, again, I don't mind teams losing. Well, it's very rare. I've never gone undefeated. But if I'm Clemson, yeah, it's done for me because we can't beat anybody. So all of my wins are absolutely, positively worthless. So my question to you, my football guru, is where did it go wrong for the ACC? Talk to me because this is bad. And it's high-level bad right now.
Well, I think it's teams going back to teams is jumping out a lot of times. Teams jumped out the conference, and I think they failed to move with the rest of the country as far as schematically. ACC was one of those power football clubs. You know what I mean? I think, I formation, smash mouth football, whereas the first team to transition, in my opinion, was Clemson. Clemson transitioned to a 4-2-5 defense, all multiples. They also went to a spread offense, so they were one of the first teams who started to really expand their offense. So they were able to recruit more and they were able to get players. And you see, they got it going. Maryland did it, of course, but Maryland's no longer in it. Back when Maryland was with Mark Duffner. Maryland was one of the first spread teams in the country.
Mark Duffner.
When they was doing the run and shoot. If you remember back then, right? Yeah, so Maryland tried it. They didn't get the recruits. Coach Duffner wasn't able to get the recruits that Clemson has now with Dabo. But it's just that the brand of football in the ACC is outdated. For most of the ACC, I think, and I'm not going to say outdated because now they're all spread, but it took too long to transition into what college football has become now. And some schools are still trying to catch up. And I think that's the major issue. So you don't recruit the talent. It's not like entertaining football. It's not fast football. You had Georgia Tech still running the Navy offense. You know how.
So I got to ask, man, and I appreciate this insight. I know our listeners appreciate this insight. Clemson, the last 2 times they played somebody with a heartbeat, got smoked like ham. So has Clemson been surpassed? Because, again, the last 2 times they've played people with real skills because they feast on this ACC diet. Is Clemson's time as a dominant national power over?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think their time is a national. No, not at all. I think that, I think they're going to be fine. I think Clemson's going to be fine. If you see what they did, it was South Carolina State yesterday, but they're going to be fine. And then they're going to feast next week. Next time they play, they're going to jump on Georgia Tech on the 18th. And, that might be a 50-point blowout, but they will feast on the rest of the ACC. Their time has not come. I think it's just one thing that's it's underrated by the casual fan is the fact of chemistry. Chemistry is everything. They lost their quarterback. That guy's gone. And a lot of time quarterback can make up The quarterback, I know you say it's the most overrated position.
Overpaid, man. It's about the money
in the NFL, but it is. That guy is the glue. That guy's what makes it good. If you're bad somewhere else, that quarterback can make up for it anywhere else. If your receiving core isn't that great, a great passing quarterback can make up for it. If your running game ain't that great, but you got a quarterback who got legs, he can provide enough of a threat that can free up some other people running the football. If you don't have that great across the middle tight end, if you got a quarterback who can read fronts and blitzes, he's able to shift the line to different places. If he's smart enough, the protection can change. He can get you out of bad plays. Like, it's very, very important that quarterback is the coach on the field. And I think that what happens is you see the quarterback makes coaches look, and you know how it is. Players make us look better. You know what I mean? Good players make a coach look good. Great players make a coach look great. That's just the way it is. And I liken it NFL-wise. Tom Brady. Look what he did in New England, and everybody, Belichick. Well, Tom Brady left. What happened? And then he went down to Tampa Bay and did the same thing over again. So was it Belichick or was it Brady?
We're going to find out, and that's going to be a show later on this week, fans. And with that, we'll be right back after this break.
Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project, is releasing a book this fall called Finding the Balance: My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. The goal of this book is to give greater insight into student-athlete motivation to improve student-athlete academic and athletic success through the lens of Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic journey, from being an underperforming student-athlete to an academic and athletic leader. This book is also designed to be a guide for student-athletes, parents, teachers, coaches, administrators, and anyone else who has a passion to help student-athletes succeed academically and athletically. You can pre-order your copy of the book directly from our website at www.ckasaveproject.org. This book is scheduled for release in the fall of 2021.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. And in this segment, we will do our predictions for week 3 strictly for entertainment purposes.
Yes, sir.
Only. So first of all, the top 5, and this is from Dr. Adams. Number 1 is Alabama. And again, Alabama and the points in the first half did you well if you're into that kind of thing. 2 is Georgia. And then I'm going to pause and say, okay, these are the 2 best teams in the country. And now I got to have a top 5, so I need 3 more. So Oklahoma's 3, Clemson's 4, and Cincinnati is 5. And why is Cincinnati 5? Because if they run through, they're already in the top 10, so I think they can sneak in. And on the outside looking in, UCLA for another week because they're going to talk about Chip until he loses. And out of respect for their defeating of Ohio State, Oregon is on the outside looking in. So for our West Coast listeners, see, I got 2 of your 2 of your schools in there, so you can't yell at me. So in terms of the top 5, sir, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking Oregon definitely needs to be in over Cincinnati. I think Oregon, offensively, it's amazing. It's, oh my gosh. Man,
I just think Ohio State's bad, but I'm sorry.
But Oregon offensively, they put you in a pickle. They spread you. They run their inside zone, pushing the number 1 technique to the linebacker. It's too much space for you to cover. Like, you have to be a top-notch defender in order to cover that as far as the linebacker is concerned. And they have so much speed on the outside that it just takes them 1 step. So, any RPO and it's over with.
All right. So games of the week. Let me recap week 2 to preview week 3. So on our last episode for week 1, I picked Coastal over Kansas. That occurred. I picked Michigan over Washington. That occurred. I picked Iowa State over Iowa. Hey, we can't win them all. And yes, I picked Ohio State over Oregon. So I took another 2-2 week. And my season record thus far is 5-7, which is a 41% ranking. And my goal personally, strictly for entertainment purposes, only is 53%. So moving forward, Games of the week for week 3. And because of our taping schedule, we're just doing wins, not points.
Mhm.
We've got a BCA 4-pack. And for those who don't know, the BCA is the Black Coaches Association. So work with me. I've got Maryland over Illinois because Illinois look like hot garbage. And that win over Nebraska seems like econs ago. I've got Michigan State over Miami because you cannot play that way against App State and think I'm going to hang out with you. I've got Penn State over Auburn. I really don't think that's really going to happen, but I'm on a roll with that. So I hope Franklin can put it together. I believe it's at Penn State. I believe it's a whiteout game. So as you said in the beginning, sir, I think the atmosphere is going to be live and in living color. So go. We are Penn State. Shout out to Beans, my college roommate. And for my last game, I've got Arizona State and Herm Edwards over BYU. What do you think, Coach? Any game of the week you're interested in for next week, my friend?
I'm interested in that Penn State Auburn game. I think I'm going to tune in as long as it fits in my schedule. But yeah, I think Penn State Auburn is going to be the best game out of the 3. BYU, you don't know what you're going to get. So Arizona State could be in for a tough one. Maryland 2-0, Illinois 1-2. I think going in, it's Maryland's first road test, so it may take a while for them to get going, but I just think offensively they are much better than Illinois. I mean, Illinois scored 14 points against Virginia last week. I don't think they can keep up with Maryland, even if it becomes a shootout. Maryland 35-28.
Right, now you're tossing scores out too. You got the fever. I love it. All right, well, fans, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. You can follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.